The hot topic of the day, hot water heaters, H2O. There's a lot of different kinds. A lot of people have electric units. They're pretty basic. You got a 30 amp circuit that feeds them. You're only running 4,500 watt element at a time with that, though. If you don't know, there's two elements in all of your 30, 40, and 50 gallon domestic hot water units. So you're going to draw about 15, 16 amps on that. So it does limit your capacity to make hot water. But it is efficient. You know, a lot of people have them, and they are the least costly to replace. But be warned, only one of these elements runs at a time. So you're only getting 4,500 watts. What happens is when you run out of hot water, the top element runs so that it's only heating the top of the tank. And then once that's warmed up, then it flips down to the bottom unit, and that heats the rest of the tank, which gives you your full capacity of 40 gallons for most people. Usually these have check valves so that you're not bleeding the hot water into the house. We're not talking about recirculation loops on that. Indirect hot water heaters. If you got a boiler, there's 5 or 10 different brands of these. A lot of them are stainless now. Some of them are plastic lined, but you have a coil of some sort in the indirect, and that's using your boiler water. So if you got 10 gallons a minute, usually it's 3/4 or 1 inch pipe. They want you to have 1 inch pipe on a lot of these. So you're going to get, 10 gallons a minute. You're probably pushing 80,000 BTU. That's a lot of heat. You can make a lot of hot water. These are pricey, but the lifespan's going to be a lot longer. Same thing, hot, cold coming in. You're going to have safety valves on all these units as well. So you're going to have a T and a P valve. You have a T and a P valve, temperature and pressure valve, on all of these units. So that's important. If that's dripping, you may need an expansion tank on that, or you may need to replace that T and P valve. They're not that expensive. These indirect units, you have your boiler water coming through these coils. So if you get a hole in one of these coils, your domestic water is going to push back into your boiler system, and it's going to make that safety blow on your boiler. That's an issue. So you're going to wind up either replacing the indirect or the coil. Generally, it's the indirect. It's not cost effective to replace the coil most of the time on these. A lot of people also have oil-fired units. So if you have, a 40, 50 gallon oil-fired unit, you can make a lot of hot water with those. They're not going to be as efficient as the indirect, because your indirect is going to be as efficient as your boiler. So if you have a high efficiency boiler, you're somewhere in the 90s, all the way up to like 96%. Or if you're oil fired, just a standard oil fired boiler, you could have high 70s to 80s percent efficiency coming out of this, but you will make a lot of hot water with that. The oil fired, this is going to have a burner in it, but it's only going to be your high 70s, maybe low 80% efficiency on this, because it is just naturally drafted. Now, there's maintenance with these as well. There's anode rods, which should be replaced every couple of years in all these water units. So that's just aluminum or zinc or magnesium rod. There'll be a separate video for that for maintenance, but keep an eye out for that. That's a good video. That will protect your tank from corrosion. Usually the corrosion will eat up around your fittings, and you'll wind up with a leak. Either under the jacket, you'll see some moisture, or you'll see some dripping or something under the floor, under the unit, and that could be an issue. Some of these stainless ones, for the indirects, you may not have to replace anode rods because the stainless doesn't get attacked. But if you have any steel or not brass or copper fittings going to these, it's going to eat them up. You should have a dielectric to protect these tanks. That's an issue as well. Oil-fired boilers. If you got a coil, these older boilers, they stay hot all the time. If you have a coil in your boiler, you can make a lot of hot water, but you're burning oil constantly in order to maintain temperature in this boiler. So that's not going to be very efficient. There are a lot of them out there. They do get plugged up. We boil these out with acid or with CLR or ZEP. That cleans your coil out, and that gives you better flow. You can stall these coils out if you push too much water through them. Usually there's a valve on them, or a mixing valve, that'll limit how much water you can push through them in order to maintain temperature. good idea to have a water softener on any of these units if you have well water. That will prolong the life of your unit. There are also gas-fired water heaters, which are standard efficiency, 70-80% efficient. You have power vent units, which are high 80s. That's going to be for natural gas or for propane. The bonus to that is you're going to have PVC or other plastic vent pipe going out the wall, so you don't need a conventional chimney for a power vent unit or for a condensing unit. These new on-demand units are all, for the most part, condensing, so you're going to get 90% and up efficiency out of them. But they are going to have some more maintenance because you're heating so much water in a small area. All that hardness, if you don't have a water softener, is going to plug those units up. They tell you to flush them out every year. Sometimes you get away every couple of years, but that is a maintenance item, so that will cost you money to run these condensing units. If you guys have questions, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. I'll do another video for the anode rods, as I said. Have a good day.